you doing, everybody? This is your pal and fellow fan of pop culture, Steve Ludwig, welcoming you to another edition of Steve Ludwig's Classic Pop Culture, right here at planetludwig.com. Congratulations. You have landed safely and peacefully at Planet Ludwig. And thanks to Joe Mandica for writing, producing, and performing our classic pop culture theme song. And Joe also figures in our guests on the show tonight, as you'll hear in a moment. So, here we are, show number 150, and our guests, both from Melbourne, Australia. We'll hear from Joe Sofra. At age 76 years young, has his very first single out, called One of Those Things. Now it's time for Mr. Joe Sofra. At the ripe young age of 76, he has released his first single, One of Those Things. What an amazing story he has to tell. So before we speak with Joe, let's hear One of Those Things.
It was one of those things while I was having a drink, and before I knew it, I'd committed a sin. I could see from afar as she walked to the bar. I know I should have moved far away, but I foolishly stayed. If it is love you want, then love I cannot give. If it is love you need, then I can cross that bridge. Oh no, let's just give it a miss. My intentions were fine, I didn't count on the wine. She said, I don't want to be alone, won't you please take me home? Nothing ever sold. It all just happened, love, without a single thought. Oh no, let's just go for a walk. It was one of those things while I was having a drink, I lost track of the time, going out of my mind. There was only a fling, didn't mean anything, and before I knew it, I committed a sin. But before I knew it, I committed a sin.
Our second guest from Melbourne, Australia, had a music career as a young man, which he left to raise a family and have a proper job, as the saying goes. And now, bless him, at the tender age of 76, he has released his first official single, One of Those Things, which we just had the pleasure of hearing. His story is a fascinating one, indeed. So let's get right into it. It's a pleasure to welcome to Classic Pop Culture, Joe Sofra. Hi, Joe. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Steve, or I should say good evening to you, and thank you very much for having me on your show.
It's such a pleasure. And yes, It's about 9 p.m. here in New Jersey, America, and in Melbourne it's about 11 a.m. tomorrow.
Correct. Correct. Yeah, tomorrow for you. Yes.
And I've used this joke with Joe Mantica and a couple other guests that I've had from Australia. Being you're 14 hours ahead of me, has my day gone so far, Joe?
Ah, beautiful. You're going to get some very nice surprises along the way.
Good. I hope they're nice surprises, really.
Oh, of course. Yes.
Okay, great.
Only good surprises.
Yeah. So, I mentioned Joe Mandica's name, Joe, and you and our listeners know Joe so well because he's been on the show many times. I'm happy to call him a friend of mine. He also wrote, produced, and performs our classic pop culture theme song. Will you please share with our listeners your relationship with Joe?
Yes, Steve, I'd be pleased to. I mean, I've known Joe for 50 years, actually, over 50 years. It all started when I decided to marry his sister. So when I came into the family, and I suppose I should say Sister Frances, otherwise Frances will growl at me later on. But no, look, Joe was only about 6 years old when I came into the family, and I always knew he was going to end up in the music business because even as a 6-year-old, he was always entertaining. And I think he took after his father. His father played guitar and sang a little bit, and actually introduced me to country and western music. His favourite singer was Gene Autry, and I think it was the first time that I heard the song "You Are My Sunshine," which I haven't never. How could you forget a song like that?
Right. Yeah.
So. Brings back many happy memories.
Yeah.
So as I said, I'm not surprised. I thought he would follow in his dad's footsteps, and he has.
And now you and Joe have co-written this song, one of those things. And I mean, at the age of 76, I'm 66, so we're together, sort of in that same range. We're still young men, and you've released. We are absolutely, certainly young at heart. You've released your first single. Please, Joe, share with us this really very cool story. Share with our listeners how this all came about.
Well, I think, look, since I left music, I might have left music there for a while, but since sort of coming back, I've always wanted to write a song and record a song, and I had the opportunity. This little tune came into my head one day, and I started to play around with it. At first, it was going to be a slow ballad, and I could see somebody like I pictured maybe Tom T. Hall sitting at a bar singing this song, over a glass or two of watermelon wine. So that's how it started. I then ran it past Joe. He weaved his magic,
exactly,
and he sent it back to me, and I thought, oh, is that my song? I loved it. Mm-hmm. So that's how we did it. So Joe contributed greatly towards this.
Yeah, I mean the opening line really sets the mood. It was one of those things. I was having a drink. Boy, how many people in history, have been there, right? It was one of those things. It starts with the drink.
Well, exactly. I mean, Tom T. Hall was interviewing this old gentleman, and I thought, no, we'll make it a little bit more interesting. So I put myself in the picture there, and I thought, okay, once I had the second line, the rest just flowed very, very easily. So it was one of those smooth songs to sort of write.
Yeah. What was the genesis of it, Joe? Were you lying around the house, or it just popped into your head?
I was in the garden gardening, and when some of these words came into my head, I didn't have a pen or something. I didn't have my phone with me. So I went into the shed. Luckily, there was some old pencils there, so I started writing it on some of the boxes. And they're still there, actually.
That's a nice...
That's how it started.
So when the tours of your house begin after this song is such a hit, that'll be part of the Joe Sofra Museum, those boxes with the lyrics on them.
I tell you what, Steve, I think you're onto something. I think we'll do that.
And I have to mention this to you. I do get a finder's fee for that idea. So just so we're clear on that.
I thought you were a nice person.
I'm a nice person for a price. Absolutely. No, no.
No.
Yeah, it has this wonderful, wonderful country feel. We're going to discuss some more of your songs a little later, but country is not your only love of genre of music, right? You're kind of all encompassing.
Honestly, Steve, I try to sort of say to myself, what sort of music do you like? I mean, when I was a young fellow, our little group consisted of, we started off as a duo, which was Rob Seiler and myself. Then we added a drummer later on, George Vionidis came aboard. And we've had a couple of changes since then. But finally, we ended up with Rob, myself. We had a new drummer, Glenn. We introduced a trumpet player, Ken Forbes, who we've just seen just recently after many, many years. And we formed this group called Bobby's Four. And we had great success with that. But we were more of a Latin American quartet.
Really?
But we played everything. Yes. Mm-hmm. So, but we played everything. Look, if it's good music, I think everybody will like it if it's good. And so I, as I said, country and western. I think I was introduced to it through my father-in-law. And it's stuck ever since because You Are My Sunshine is every time we play at the retirement villages gigs, nursing homes, you've got to put that number in because everybody sings along and it's just a great number. Beautiful.
You know something, Joe? My dad, rest his soul, but he spent his final years in a veterans home. And the one thing the nurses told me and the caregivers told me that music is what really brought them all the residents back to life, so to speak. Their eyes sparkled, and it just seems to be so universal. Music. Did you find that yourself when you're playing?
I agree with that entirely. Look, when we go and do our little gigs, it's only for 1 hour, and you have a look at the people when they come into the lounge room or the main room, and they are not what you would call happy people. But after we start playing, they wake up, they clap their hands, they tap their feet, and then after the little show, they come over and thank us for brightening up their day. It's just beautiful. I look forward to it.
And it sounds priceless. You can't put a price on that kind of satisfaction you get.
No way. My only problem is at 76, my wife said that one of these days I may keep me in there. So,
where are you going, Stan? Get back here. I don't think so, Joe. To speak to you, I mean, there's no way you're 76. I mean, with the attitude you have and just this time we're speaking here, I can't believe you're 76. And it is young. I mean, in today's age, with all the different advances in medicine, we know how to take care of ourselves better. How do you feel?
I feel 100%. I feel terrific. I honestly don't feel like I'm 76, but I am. Look, I'm going to be 77 in January. And, I keep myself very active, busy. I always have to have something going. My grandchildren keep me very busy and very young, by the way. And my garden keeps me fit. I absolutely love my garden. I think next to music, garden has got to be the next relaxation place for me. And as I say, it keeps you fit.
Yeah, absolutely. I would imagine the bending up and down isn't good for the knees, but...
well, I'm very fortunate. I haven't got any problems.
That's good.
I'm not a big bloke. I don't carry a lot of weight. I look after myself. I walk every morning. I don't jog anymore, but I certainly walk every morning. 3, 4, 5, and sometimes even more kilometres per day. It's not a lot, but it keeps me going.
Mm-hmm. Now, you mentioned, with your band, with Bobby's Four. Now, how old? What are we talking about? How old were you guys when you were in that band? About.
Well, I think, just going back a little bit further than that, I think I started when I was about 18 or thereabouts.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't really remember how I met Rob, but it would have been in the early 60s. I know that every time we started off with weddings and parties. I had I had a car. Rob was only about 16 or 16 and a half.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to go and pick him up and take him to a little gig. So it was sort of weddings, parties for the first 1 or 2 years. Then we actually went into a talent show, a TV show here in Melbourne, which we did reasonably well. We didn't win it; we were runners up. But that gave us that gave us an opening into one of the city hotels. Somebody saw us and they thought, these guys will be great at the Cecil Hotel there in Melbourne. Mm-hmm. So then it got a little bit more serious. That was a gig that we did for a couple of years, Fridays and Saturday nights, and that was great. And then after that one, when our drummer then, George, I forget what the story was, but anyway, he left the group. I think he had a better offer, maybe. Then we had another opportunity to play at a different venue, which was a very, very good gig, 6 nights a week.
Wow!
They wanted, 6 nights a week was absolutely fabulous. And at that point, we changed our drummer from George to Glenn Bylis. Then we added Ken Forbes trumpet, which was so our sound was a little bit different. And we were there until I decided to call it quits when I got married. And Rob and the boys stayed on there for quite a while, actually. Mm-hmm. So it was a very good gig. So, so 4 of us, Rob, myself, Glenn, and Ken. So, and that was and I left the group in 1970, mm-hmm. at the end of 1970, yeah.
I had as a guest, I'm so lucky to have so many wonderful guests like yourself, and I had the founder and the leader of the 1910 Fruit Gum Company. They had some bubblegum hits in the 60s. And mm-hmm. at the pinnacle of their success, the founder's name is Frank Jekyll, wonderful guy. He still had a regular job, quote unquote, a regular job, because the music business didn't pay health insurance and things like that. And he took a responsible role. And while Yummy, 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 1, 2, 3, Red Light, while they were all number one, he had a 9-to-5 job as well. Now, I know when you left the band, your job as a realtor in real estate, it was anything but a 9-to-5 job. That's pretty much a 7-day-a-week job, isn't it, Joe?
Oh yes, nobody told me that.
Yeah,
no, that's right. True. But look, I did real estate. I loved it. I loved the challenges. I loved talking to people. People used to tell me I have the gift of the gab. Mm-hmm. I could sell ice cream to an Eskimo. I don't know about that, but I loved real estate. Look, a lot of my friends, the weekend came along and they'd be dreading the day that they've got to go to work on Mondays. I would look forward to it, even though I used to work part-time. Not part-time, but we used to have opens obviously at the various properties, which called for weekend. You've got to be there when people need you. So
sure.
To me, I look forward. I look forward to going to work every Monday, every day. So I was very fortunate. I did it for 40 years, and to me, it was a pleasure. And of course, with it brought a good lifestyle as well.
Yeah.
I'm very, very thankful.
What a wonderful career, 40-year career. Now, as busy as you were during that 40-year career, did you ever yearn to get back into the music business or, get back on stage?
I'm going to disappoint you here, Steve. The answer is no. I was too busy.
Well,
I was too busy.
that's fine. You enjoyed your job. Good for you. But no, huh?
Look,
That's
I
interesting.
loved it. Look, and while I was running my own business, because we brought up two beautiful children. My daughter Maria, she'll be turning 50 very shortly. She and her partner Shane have given us two beautiful grandsons. Actually, Jack, who turned 16 today, was
Happy
on the phone
birthday,
just a
Jack.
few minutes ago. So, and of course, young Edward is 12. He's 12, and he'll be 13 next month. Then Jason, my son, he's 45, with his wife Sally. Two beautiful girls, Abby 13 and Megan 8. They bring us great joy, absolute joy.
I'll bet you wonder. I'll bet you wonder. Now you said you have a 50-year-old daughter, a 45-year-old son. You're probably thinking to yourself, "How the heck did that happen so fast?"
Oh yes,
Right?
yes. It really makes you think. Is my daughter really going to be 50?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, she is.
All right. So you were in the real estate business for 40 years. You really had no desire to get back into music. So what eventually made you decide to have this comeback?
Well, for my 70th birthday, even though we lost track with the boys from the band, we later on we managed to catch up. So that at my 70th birthday party, which my wife threw for me, she invited Rob and George, and they managed to get me on stage. I was very reluctant to get on there, but once I got there, they couldn't get me off. Honestly, boy, was I rusty. I was really rusty.
Well, after 40 years, Joe.
Oh yes, but but I enjoyed it, and I thought, hey, I'm retired now. I think I might just get back into it, and that's how it started. I remember the following day, Rob and we were making plans on how we're going to get together, and so basically, just Rob and I sort of kept on with it, because today with these gigs at retirement villages and elderly people's home, there's no room for trios or quartets. Normally, most of the entertainment is individuals, and you might get a duet. So, getting a 3-piece or a 4-piece band was out of the question. Mm-hmm. So it was just Rob and I, and we enjoyed. Rob and I have a good time, but so do the girls. I mean, Rob's wife Coral and my wife get on like a house on fire. Oh, so they just love it. Rob comes to my place every alternative week or fortnight, and while we practice, the girls either entertain themselves here at home or they go out shopping and spend their money. But no, they really enjoy each other's company, so it's been fantastic.
So your return to music is a win-win for you and for your wife, Frances.
But on the basis of, I think it's like a job. Look, if you're doing a job that you have to do it, it can get sometimes a bit difficult. But if you do something that you love, for instance, we're only doing this just for kicks. And as a matter of fact, the name of the album, the CD that we did, is called Just for Kicks. Mm-hmm. So it's purely just for a bit of fun. We're both retired. Rob's retired. I'm retired. And we do this for a lot of fun. And as I said, the satisfaction of seeing people, elderly people, sort of, react to your music is just beautiful. Yeah. It's priceless. Definitely priceless.
Now, you and your wife, Frances, recently celebrated your 50th wedding anniversary. May I congratulate you guys on that.
I thank you very much, Steve.
What is the secret, Joe? What's the secret to a happy marriage?
Oh, I think number one, it's got to be love, respect. Don't take anybody for granted. And of course, have a lot of things in common. definitely helps, and keeping busy. Well, I've certainly kept Francis busy. I mean, apart from the kids and everything, we were married, we've been married for 50 years, but we've had a few moves. We've moved 13 houses. The house we're in at the moment, we've been here nearly 11 years. So
13
take away the
houses.
11 years. If you take away the 11 years, we moved on an average, I think, every, 3 years or something.
Wow.
So but I love it. Look, maybe that's why I got into the real estate business.
Yep.
When I moved into a house, I would get it to perfection, as perfect as I could afford, and then I'd be not so much bored, but I'd want to do it again.
Mm-hmm.
At first, Frances wasn't 100% with me, but tell you what, later on, she loved it just as much as I did, and there was never a dull moment. We were always on the move, and we just loved doing it. So, So to answer your question, all of the above, as I said, keep busy. So as I said, moving 13 times, I've kept her very busy.
I'll bet you guys like to laugh together as well.
Oh, a lot. Steve, at night times when normal people go to sleep, Francis and I will get either the records out, or we play a lot of card games, and we never go to bed before 12:30, 1 o'clock. So, no, I think that the name of the game is just stay active. Mm-hmm. Card games, I love card games. It keeps the mind alive. Music keeps us fit. Gardening keeps me fit. So, look, the name of the game is just keep busy, always have a plan, a goal to wake up to the next day, and do it.
Mm-hmm. My wife Sue and I, we love to giggle and laugh too, and she actually loves marriage jokes. And if I can share this with you, Joe, and it was either go ahead.
Is it clean, Steve? Is it clean? Is it a clean joke?
Anyway, here I go. No. It's clean.
Okay.
It's clean. Unfortunately,
right. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's either Henny Youngman or Rodney Dangerfield, one of those two. But someone asked Rodney once, how long, you're married? He goes, yeah, I've been happily married. I'm happily married for 17 years. Married for 50, happily for 17.
What happened?
or one more quick Rodney joke is, my wife likes to make love in the back seat, but she wants me to drive. But anyway.
And you thought and people thought I'm one track mind with the song that I wrote.
Yeah. Oh boy. Well, speaking of writing the song, I know that's one thing you can cross off your bucket list, Joe. Can you share any other things on this bucket list with us? You care to share any? What else you have on the fire?
I think, a couple of things was to write a song, record it, which I've done both. I mean, ideally, I'd love for some famous international star to pick up my song and record it. Mm-hmm. Wouldn't that be something?
Yes.
And of course, now we've just created another one. I've been interviewed. I've never been interviewed in my life. So there you are. That's another thing that I can cross off my list.
I'm honored.
Thanks to you.
I listen. I'm honored that you were nice enough to come on. It's such an interesting story.
It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. And I love America too. Look, we've had the good fortune of coming to America. I think we were there in 1979 with the kids for the first time. Then we were there in, of course, 2013. My kids could never surprise me for my birthday. Well, they surprised me for my 70th. We had the party here in January of 2014, but they surprised me on the September before, which would have been 2013. Jason and Marie came up one night and says, Dad, here's your present. Here's your 70th birthday present. Tickets to America for the 3 weeks holidays. So,
my goodness! Wow.
So how could I say no to that? So we were there, and in 13. We had a ball. We came up to New Jersey. met up with some cousins.
Mm-hmm.
We think they were cousins.
We almost met up, Joe, didn't we, in Woodbridge, New Jersey?
In Burlington,
yeah.
Wasn't it? No, was it?
Burlington? Yeah,
where was it?
Yeah, it was Burlington or Woodbridge, one of those areas. But yeah, Burlington.
Woodbridge, that's it. Woodbridge,
right.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yes.
It
You've got a good memory.
Well, but I left something at yours and Francis's hotel. But so, what are your impressions of the U.S.? I know you said you enjoyed it, but what kind of memories do you have, or your impressions?
Oh, look, very pleasant memories. We have friends in Los Angeles. We've got relations in Kentucky, Cincinnati, North Carolina.
Well, family members, friends, family members?
Again, cousins.
Yeah.
Because one of my nieces married an American boy, and he's from Kentucky, Mike Webster. So she's over there, and, I try to drop in and see her every time. I didn't drop in on the last time, which was, again, if I can just go back a bit,
sure.
2013 was our trip, which just Francis and I. Unbeknownst to me, my wife Frances and Rob's wife Coral had agreed to go to Nashville, the Grand Ole Opry, in 2015, which I forgot all about.
I've never been.
I forgot all about it. Haven't you? Oh,
no.
It's fantastic.
I'm ashamed of myself.
So in 2015, Rob, Coral, Francis and I back to the States. And we had an absolute ball. So we did Disneyland, we did all the usual things. Mm-hmm. And I thought, that's it, no more. My traveling days are finished. And then, of course, Jason comes up to me in 2018 and he says, Pop, I'm getting married. After having two beautiful girls, they decide to get married. Mm-hmm. But that's fine. That's the way things are done today. And I said, oh, great. He says, and you're coming? I said, of course I'm coming. He said, in Vegas. Uh-oh. So it was another trip to America. And let me tell you, as soon as I mentioned it to Rob, he says, count me in. So he and Coral joined us, and we had another absolute brilliant time.
My wife Sue and I have been to Vegas maybe 5 times. It is. They say it's a big adult playground. Isn't it amazing?
Oh, it is amazing. It's. I don't know whether I would spend too much time there. I mean, I've been there twice, mm-hmm. but you've got to see it at least once in your lifetime. You've got to witness it once.
And Sue and I don't even gamble. We played the slots, but we went just for the entertainment and just the spectacle of it.
That's where we saw the show Love, I think.
Yeah, the Beatles show.
The Mirage. Yeah. Oh, just magic, just beautiful. Look, everything I saw. Look, we this time the last trip in 2018, we travelled to America with. We caught up with Jason and Sally. We actually spent some time together, and the girls. Then we went. We drove down to. No, we didn't drive down. We got a train to. San Diego, which I loved. I always wanted to go and see the zoo there.
Mm-hmm. A lot of ships too in San Diego, right?
Oh, we visited that. Visited the Midway. Is it Midway? The warship that's there.
It's terrible. I was there myself, and I don't remember. You're probably right, but the San Diego.
Yeah, anyway, I've got some photos. I've got some photos here somewhere. But anyway, then we decided from there we were going to meet up with Jason and Sally at Vegas. So we decided to drive to San Francisco because I told Rob I'd love to drive on the Golden Gate Bridge. Mm-hmm. So I crossed that off my list. So we drove. Well, no, I say we drove. I did the talking. Rob did the driving. Mm-hmm. So we drove there, and after that we drove to Yosemite Park. Did I pronounce it correctly?
Yes,
Yosemite
you did. Yep.
Park.
Yes.
And then through there we're going to go through Death Valley and drive on to Vegas. Mm-hmm. But anyway, we took one wrong turn. We still ended up in Vegas, but we went through a place called Prim. So it was very exciting. Mm-hmm. We just loved it.
Yeah.
So my impressions of America, I love it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'd love to come to Australia. I'd love to come to Australia sometime. It just seems like such a great place.
Well,
that's
Steve,
part of my bucket list. That's part of my bucket list.
You know what, Steve? I made a couple of notes here, and I'm looking at them now, and I thought, well, if you ever get a chance to come to Australia, please look us up. Because what I'll do, I'll round up the gang, and you know the gang that I'm talking about. Joe Mandica,
Yes.
Stephanie, Mario, Daniel.
Oh my
Nina,
gosh! What a group
and
that'll
I'm sure that. And I've got a room big enough here at home that we could entertain everybody. So I'd be honoured if you.
Oh my goodness!
Come to Australia.
I would love
come
it.
And see us.
Thank you, Joe. No, absolutely. That is so nice of you. I appreciate it.
That's an open invitation.
Okay, thank you, Joe. I will take you up on it when I get to Australia. Now you're going to be sorry.
Now, Steve, remember, I'm 76. So
Okay,
don't take too long.
I understand you're still a young man, so I have plenty of time. So
Yes.
I did kind of ask you this before about country. Country is you have many loves, different genres of music. As a matter of fact, you mentioned the CD Just for Kicks before, and that has different genres of music on it. Tell our audience what that CD's all about, Just for Kicks.
Oh, honestly, I did that. As I said, I've always wanted to record a CD. And at that stage, I'd never written anything. So I thought, well, I'm going to pick some songs that we like. We did use backing tracks. Rob played keyboard on one or two. I think Joe Mandica played a little bit on one of the tracks, but mainly it was backing tracks. But I did it just basically for just the fact of saying I've done a CD and pass it on to my grandkids so that they can remember me that way. So that's how it started. And as I said, with Rob's help, we did it, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it very much. That I'm actually looking forward to doing another one.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Now, this CD, the Just for Kicks CD, was like you said, more or less for friends and family. This upcoming CD that you hope to do, that you mentioned, is that going to be available to the public?
Well, again, Joe Mandiga and I are discussing it now. We will put we will include our new song on it, but I'm working on another one, possibly two songs. I'd love to finish and
wonderful.
maybe include those as well. So I'll keep in touch with you on that one.
Not that I need another excuse, but you will come back on the show when those are ready, I hope.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Oh,
yes, I'd be very happy to come aboard. Yes.
Well, you were nice enough, Joe, to include us in the quote-unquote family and friends listeners of the CD. You sent me a couple of songs that we're going to listen to right now. I love them both. And your vocal on one of those things, Beverly Patterson, who gave such a wonderful review of your song in something else online, she put it perfectly. Your voice, your delivery in one of those things was across. It's kind of like Johnny Cash meets Elvis. And on the Just for Kicks CD, you cover Elvis's Surrender. What made you decide to cover Elvis? Great cover by the way.
Oh, there's a couple of Elvis numbers that stand out for me, and both, and it's obviously Surrender, Torna Sorrento, the Italian song, and of course the other one is It's Now or Never, which again Elvis did an absolute fantastic job.
Sure did,
and I just wanted to do it, Of course, It's Now or Never, it's O Sole Mio. Right. So I was pretty familiar with the Italian versions. So when I heard it, I thought, my God, that sounds terrific. So, I loved it. So I thought I'd do it. The range, I mean, Elvis had an incredible range. It was a little bit challenging, but look, we got past it. So I enjoyed doing it.
Well, why don't we listen to it right now? Here is Joe Sofra from his Just for Kicks CD with Surrender.
When we kiss, my heart's on fire, burning with a strange desire. And I know each time I kiss you, that your heart's on fire too. So my darling, please surrender all your love so warm and tender. Let me hold you in my arms, dear, while the moon shines bright above. All the stars will tell the story of that love and all its glory. Let us take this night of magic and make it a night of love. All the stars will tell the story of that love and all its glory. Let us take this night of magic and make it a night of love. Won't you please surrender to me your lips, your arms, your heart, dear. Be mine forever. Be mine Why do you wanna make those eyes at me from when they don't mean what they say? They make me glad, they make me sad, they make me want a lot of things that I never had. You're fooling around with me now. Well, you lead me on and then you run away. Well, that's alright, I'll get you a lonesome night, and baby you'll find you're messing with dynamite. So what do you want to make these eyes at me from? Hey, they don't mean what they say. What do you want to make these eyes at me from? Hey, they don't mean what they say. They make me glad, they make me sad, they make me want a lot of things that I never had. You're fooling around with me now. Well, you lead me on and then you run away. Well, that's alright, I'll get you a lonesome night, and baby you'll find you're messing with dynamite. So what do you want to make these eyes of me for? Hey, they don't mean what they say. If they don't mean what they say.
What do you want to make those eyes at me for? Joe, as it was playing, I asked Joe, Emil Ford covered that originally, you were saying.
Yes.
Yeah.
From
a nice little
from
doo-wop.
memory, yes.
Yeah, a nice little doo-wop delivery there. I loved it.
Very catchy, isn't it?
Yeah, very, very catchy. What are some of the other songs you have on the CD? If I'm not putting you on the spot here, but do you remember some of the other ones you did?
I'm just going to walk over to the cabinet here and get the actual CD.
Yeah, that wasn't nice of me. I just threw that right at you.
No, look, I remember most of them, but we had That's Amore with Rob putting in a few little comedy notes in there. Yellow Roses, Walk On By. We do Cut on the Girl, Jack to a King. There Goes My Everything, Blueberry Hill, Release Me, Little Old Wine Drinker Me, Little Sister, of course we've got Surrender, and What Do You Want to Make Those Eyes at Me, of course, which we've got, and Delilah. So there's about 14 numbers there.
Crowd favorites, for sure.
Well, again, they go very well. As I said, these retirement villages we play, they love them, so we just do them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. And besides, it was a little project that was funded by me. It was my project, and I thought I might as well just pick the songs that I like. And I must admit, I like most of these songs, all of these songs.
Was when you were a little boy, Joe, was music played in your house quite a bit?
No, Steve, no.
No.
I came to Australia when I was 10, and now there wasn't much music back home. Music started when I arrived here in Australia. The radio was on virtually. My sister loved music, and she had the radio going all day. I mean, I didn't appreciate music for the first 6 or 12 months because I couldn't speak English. But as soon as I picked up the lingo, I was in. I loved it. Loved music.
Yeah.
And at the age of about 14, maybe 15, I thought I'll learn a musical instrument. I actually wanted to play the piano, but I couldn't afford one. So a guitar was a cheaper option. So I bought a guitar and took some lessons. It took off from there. And actually, speaking about guitar lessons, when I came into the Joe Mandica's family, I remember taking him for his first guitar lesson to my old guitar teacher.
Wow.
So we go back a long, long time.
So Joe Mandica owes you quite a bit for his career. I hope you remind him of that too every once in a while.
I do. Yes, I do. Well, I think he's already paid me back many times over. No, look, he's a great guy. Not because he's my brother-in-law. He's just a great bloke. He'll help anybody.
He is.
He's just fantastic.
Yes. And Morella, Morella's wonderful. I had the pleasure of meeting Morella.
She's talk about hostess. Mm-hmm. You come over here. Look, it might be my house, and I might be the one that makes the calls to get everybody here. But let me tell you, it'll be Morella that will put something together for you, which will be unbelievable.
Oh,
she is very
good.
Wonderful.
Yep.
She's brilliant, yes.
Now, and we touched on this before, we said it's a win-win situation with your return to music. But Frances, your wife is certainly on board with you, with your return to music.
On board with me? She insists.
Good.
She wants me. She wants me out of her way.
Play 8 nights a week, Joe. Right?
Well, if I have to, I have to. Look, a man's got to do what a man's got to do.
Yeah,
no, look, she loves it. She loves it. Not only the company of Coral and George and the other young lady there, Dizzy, but she just loves the music. I mean, whatever I do, whatever I rehearse, I run it past her. And she gives me the thumbs up or thumbs down, but mostly it's thumbs up. Mm-hmm. She encourages me, so now I've got her full support. We love it.
Well, that's nice, too, that she is honest with you. If something doesn't seem to work, she will let you know, huh?
Oh, she will. Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
If she doesn't like something, she'll tell me.
And it's not just music.
No, that goes through.
If it's anything
but also, too, see, my son Jason, he's a school teacher, but he's also a musician. He loves music. He teaches actually music at school. His two girls, They both sing. They are fantastic. My grandson, whose birthday is today, Jack, he's learning guitar. And young Edward, we haven't got him on a musical instrument yet, but we will. So hopefully I can sort of, encourage everybody to, bring music into the home, because
encourage and inspire.
It's good for you. It's good for the soul. It makes people happy.
Oh my heavens!
And I tell you what, it makes you popular as well. When people have parties and things, I say, "Oh, Joe, look, you come over," or they'll say to friends, "I'll come over for a barbecue," or this and that, and make sure that you bring your guitar. They always make sure you bring the guitar.
Bring the guitar and leave the guitar, and we'll say no. Yeah, but I was just speaking with you, Joe, and hearing your vocals on these songs that we listen to. I imagined you would be the type that a lot of people love for you to get up and sing at parties. So, Joe, I already have your commitment that you will come back. You will grace us, really. I mean, it was so much fun. It was such a pleasure speaking with you. But when this CD, or when you have a couple other songs that have been formed, you will come back and share them with us, won't you?
Definitely. Look, with Joe Mandica and Rob Saylor's support, there is no reason. I see no reason why we can't do another. And actually, an album.
Yeah, that would be wonderful, really.
And as soon as we have it, I promise either myself directly or Joe Mandica will contact you, and we will give you all the information.
Fantastic. Joe, I want to tell you, you really are an inspiration. Just your vim and your vigor and your verve. I mean, you're the youngest 76-year-old I've ever spoken to, and I really, really appreciate you coming on, and thanks for sharing your love of music with us. I really, really appreciate it.
Steve, thank you very much for your kind words, and I thank you very much again. Thank you very much for having me on your show.
My pleasure, and Joe, we'll speak again, okay?
I'm sure we will.
Thank you.
Take care.
You too. Bye-bye. Thank you from Australia, our guest, Joe Sofra. And thank you, our loyal listeners. Love you guys so much for tuning in and for giving up some of your time to listen to us, to share your love of classic pop culture. So until next time, everybody, love each other and be peaceful. We'll catch you next time.
Pop culture.